Hey everybody, and welcome to Honest to Pod, an independent podcast brought to you from the brains of Ashley McAllister and Matthew Alley. Tune in each week where these two P's serve you a juicy helping of the topical and the titillating in what should be a very funny pod.
Oh my goodness, we're recording.
Really?
Yeah, we are.
Okay, this is good.
Yeah, so now I don't know what to say.
You need to introduce yourself first.
I know. Hi everybody, and welcome to Honest to Pod. And I'm Ashton McAllister.
And I'm Matthew Alley. Oh my God, I'm so excited.
We're very excited. This is our new venture into podcasting. So this is episode 1, and I just thought we'd lay down some housekeeping. So as we're very new to podcasting, I know Matthew is a professional singer and everything, but
not. I wish I was.
It's my first time venturing in for a microphone, and I wanted to just say that we are testing some new software, see what works, what doesn't work. If this ends up being really, really shit, I apologize. We'll try something different next week. But for now, let's keep going. All right, Matt. Well, also, I think I should just say that Matt's situated in London, and yes. I am over in Ireland. So we are doing this through the magic of the internet. And yeah, so anyway, just thought I'd say that as well. Let's kick off, Matthew, with your week. Tell me a bit about your week. What have you been up to?
So I just came back from holiday from this big old tournament called the Bingham Cup. So Ashley and I know each other through rugby, through gay rugby, in fact. So we met through friends in the King's Cross Steelers. And although it's the King's Cross Steelers, it's not located in King's Cross. It's in West Ham. And going out and stuff, having fun, we met through that team. And I've been with the Steelers for about 9 years. And how long have you known people, or would you say that you've been with the Steelers for in total?
I'd probably say not that. I've been probably 8-9 years as well, actually. Yeah, because I came down and didn't play at the start. I kind of came down when I first moved to London. Oh my God, that would be 10 years ago. Yeah, over 10 years ago.
Yeah, and Ashley is 45, is that correct?
Close.
No? Close to that, yeah, she's pretty old. Actually, it was your birthday the other day, wasn't it?
It was, yes, I was 33.
Happy birthday.
Oh, thank you.
What day was it, Tuesday?
It was on Thursday.
Thursday, the something of something, June of something like that. Anyway.
14th of June. Remember next year, put it in your diary, bitch.
I remember this time, I said happy birthday.
Did you send it me on the day or the day after?
No, the same day.
Oh,
it comes on my Facebook straight away. Like, honestly, I did. Yeah. If it's not on Facebook, I won't remember.
I'm so popular, it's just that everybody keeps sending me messages and it pops up being like...
I don't think anyone remembers that you've moved. Now that you've moved, no one actually remembers who you are. Because I keep saying Ash McAllister to people in gay rugby, and they're like, who? I'm like, the guy that keeps liking all your pictures and all your things on Instagram, but you don't actually know who it is. And it turns out that was you. Yeah. And I was like,
that's me. Yes, that's me. Yes. Yeah.
I was going to say a name about someone who did that, but I'm not going to do that just in case. Anyway, so yeah, the Bingham Cup 2018 has been going on for a number of years. I think this is like the 6th one, maybe. They did go through the history, and I've been to 4 of them in all fairness, so I should remember. But it's a big old tournament, and I mean, it's huge. There was 70 teams plus 4 female teams for the first time, which makes their own cup as well. And basically just about playing rugby, meeting people, drinking a lot. We didn't drink a lot, which is, as a Steelers, we take it very seriously. So just in case you're listening, I did not drink a lot. And then...
just in case the coach...
Yeah. I know I said that we drink a lot. That's not true at all. Like, we took 6 teams out, so that's a lot. That's massive. Most teams take 1. There are a few with 2 and 3, and we've taken 6 teams. So it's a big old event, and we'll probably talk about what the Bingham Cup is overall and the experience and impact it has and stuff later. But then that was in Amsterdam. So that's the first time I was in continental Europe. And then after that, I went for a holiday. So after these trips, I like to go on holiday. And we went to Sitges, which is the lovely little gay town outside of Barcelona. And I will admit, we haven't spoken about this properly, but it was quite a difficult week for me, actually.
Yeah. Matt and I are like really, really good friends. That's what kind of led us to start this podcast. And we've been with each other through the highs and lows of...
Oh, my days.
Matt I laugh, but it's obviously very serious for Matt.
I like to cry, okay? I'm a crier, and Ashley likes to get his camera out every time I cry. And Yeah, so
I
I'll go
just
through.
want to capture these moments so
I
that
know.
whenever we do meet somebody who we're willing to marry or willing to marry us, we have them for the role. That's all, babes. Looking after you.
Cheers. I really appreciate you looking out for me. Um, but it was the first time that, I'd broken up with someone relatively recently. And then it was the first time we'd spent like a significant amount of time with each other because we'd booked the holiday like literally like 8 days before we broke up. And we've been together for 3.5 years. So it's quite a long time. I think in gay terms, that's like 75. So yeah. But then that was good. It was really emotional at the start, made some mistakes, did some silly stuff that I haven't decided whether I will or won't say it. But it ended really nicely. We went to Barcelona afterwards for a couple of days. And honestly, it was wonderful to spend time on holiday with my friends and really nice to spend time with each other, actually. So it was quite busy. It was more than a week. It was about 10 days I was on holiday for, but a lot has happened over those days. Amsterdam, Barcelona, Sitges, 3 times of tears, I'm sure. Yeah. And I got this vile scab on my leg. Honestly, it's awful. It's awful. I wish I could take a picture, but it's disgusting. It's massive. It's about the size of a fist, and it was just passing everywhere from the scrapes because the ground was all covered in sand, and it is awful. It is honestly. I think I'm going to be scarred forever. It looks like lava. It looks like hot lava seeping out of a volcano. It's the worst thing probably I've ever had in my rugby injuries, and I've dislocated my shoulders 37 times. Like it's really, really bad.
Oh dear. Well,
But yeah, that was my week.
I think you can share a picture of that. I think you should share a picture and post it on Instagram.
Okay, I will do that.
Yeah, I think you should.
That makes sense, and then you'll see how horrible and disgusting it is. Because I decided, so I got Instagram as well relatively recently, and I want to try and post things that aren't like thirst traps because everyone wants to look really hot on their Instagrams. Everyone wants to look beautiful, and I was like, I don't want to lie. I mean, I'm beautiful already, so that's not true. It's not a lie. I just think, you know what? Let's do the opposite of that and try and post like horrible things. So I did the first one I did was my big old forehead, and yeah, I thought, it's not an attractive side of me, but I'm going to embrace it because I've got a big forehead. It is about 6 fingers wide, just so you're clear. And
well, why don't you tell people where they can find you and see this forehead for themselves? What's your Instagram name?
Oh, okay. So my Instagram is all teeth and chips, but it's space in between each of those. So if you want to look at my big forehead, it's very shiny though. It's very smooth and shiny. Then you can look then. And that was a good little plug, Ashley.
Yeah, I know.
I was like,
it's almost like I've been listening to podcasts for years, picking up notes, ready for this. So an exciting week for you from Bingham. Some little corrections there. It's actually been going on longer than 6 tournaments. I think you said it was, didn't you? How long did you say it was going for?
I said 6 tournaments, and I didn't say how often. It's every 2 years. So maybe it isn't 6. I'm probably wrong. I've been to 4, and then there was Minneapolis, and then London before that. Probably 7 then, actually. Wait,
yeah.
Are you checking the internet?
Sorry?
I thought you were checking on the internet. That's why you corrected
me.
No,
I haven't. It started basically to give people a bit of history about it. It started back in 2002, I believe. Again,
what?
Yeah, my facts might not be true, but I believe it started 2002. And I think it was 2001 was 9/11. And Mark Bingham was on one of the planes that was that was flying towards the Pentagon, I believe, or it's the one where Flight 93, the film was made of it, and passengers overtook the plane and brought the plane down early. Mark Bingham being one of the lead passengers on it, and he played for the San Francisco Fogs.
Yeah, that's correct.
I think the year after that, they decided to have a little kind of tournament, which was like in memoriam of him.
Oh, it was 8 teams, actually. I think it was about 8 teams that decided to at that point.
Oh, in my head, I was going to say 4, but it was very little, very, very little.
How do you remember all this stuff? You weren't even there. I was literally there like 2 weeks ago.
And it could have been 8 teams. I'm not sure, but I know London was one of the first teams because we were one of the
We were the very first team.
Yeah, the very first gay inclusive rugby team. And then after that first kind of tournament, they decided to make it a very, I'm going to say biannual. Is that right? Is that every 2 years biannual?
I would say that should be right, shouldn't it?
Yeah, that sounds right. Yeah. So it's every 2 years basically, and different countries host it. It's really good. My first Bingham was Sydney, which was 4 years ago. Yeah, 4 years ago.
Yeah, 4 years ago.
Yeah. And then we went to Nashville last year or 2 years ago, and then this year was Amsterdam, and I didn't get to go to Amsterdam because I'm poor.
And you're from Coachville. Do they even have planes where you're from?
Yes.
Your little rowboats over to that area.
We have to travel like all day just to get to the airport, but we can fly. Like it would be quicker if I just ran because I'm such an athlete.
It's true. I've never been to Coachville. Where actually? I don't know. Limavady. Limavady. Should give a shout out to Limavady, to all the people that would listen to this, on all the gays in Limavady.
All the gays, I think they make
all of them. That's all. Actually, I know
3, and I count for 2 because I put on so much weight.
Oh my god! You said you were going back to boot camp, no?
Yes, CrossFit. I started CrossFit again last week.
CrossFit. Yeah. How was that?
It was good. I really like CrossFit.
Is it expensive though? That's the only thing.
I think in London you're looking at maybe £200 a month or something like that. I've not actually priced
That's
it.
Ridiculous.
Yeah, I think it is expensive, but I also think the way I look at it is each session to me is like a personal training session.
It's true.
Yeah, and I think if you were to price up a gym membership and a personal training session, I go 3 times a week. So 3 times a week, that's going to cost you a lot more than £200. And I think it's just such a good atmosphere. I think it's very inclusive, and you kind of, whenever I used to go to the gym, I used to kind of just go and willy-nilly about, and sort of, if I felt like in the mood, I'd do it. If not, I kind of half-ass do it. You can't hide anywhere. Like, you've got somebody always there pushing you as far as you can go, and it just makes the money worth it, because to me it's
if you feel better for it and stuff, then it makes sense, and especially if you need that help from others to help push you.
Exactly. I would recommend CrossFit for anybody who is venturing into a healthier lifestyle. And I see these really great videos online all the time where you have people, I've just seen somebody who was limbless. I'm talking, they had no legs, no arms, doing CrossFit. There's a guy who comes to our CrossFit.
Do they chew the bar?
There's certain things you can't do, obviously, but like, they were able to use their limbs to, like.
You just said they had no legs or arms.
Yeah, they're able to, like, there's like a stubs. Would you call them?
Probably.
Yeah, and they're able to do like wall.
That would be, but like, I would say stumps.
Yeah, I hope that's not on PC.
Maybe they're still limbs, I guess.
I don't know.
Shortened limbs. Anyway.
But they're able to use them to do whatever, like through the ball. Obviously, there's certain things they couldn't do. There's a guy who comes to our CrossFit class who's in a wheelchair.
Okay.
He's able to do everything, because it's so good, because everything's like scalable to some degree.
For those like able-bodied and disabled, or talking about just different strengths and like sizes? Different
strengths, different sizes, everything. Like, there is women who come to our class. There's like 50, 60-year-old women who come and they do what the rest of us do, but they're more about, like, they won't maybe put as many weights on. They'll do it a bit lighter, but it's more, it is really good.
Oh my god, I really need to go now. You're using all these inspirational people. What about the ones that just like regular people that don't actually go? Like you, I guess.
Like me. Well, I guess. Yeah, I mean, it's good for us as well, because.
No, I know.
Yeah, because I sweat. Like, I sweat a lot, and.
You should tell them how hairy your back is. Tell everyone how hairy your back is. It's disgusting.
Why is that even relevant?
Well, it's got to do with sweat, isn't it? Like insulation and the fact that. I don't know. I feel like that sounds. But I thought any reason to bring in your back would make sense.
Yeah, well, I think we talked about it on a call a couple of weeks ago. My back I've got hairy shoulders, which to me I think makes my back sweat less, because the hair holds the clothes off.
Ah, yes.
And there's better ventilation. That being said, I do also groom myself quite regularly as I can, 6 weeks.
I do want to talk about male grooming just in general, because obviously we were talking about Queer Eye, and the season 2 has just started, so we're in June now, and on Netflix, if you watch season 1, it was amazing, unbelievable, and I've watched a lot of season 2 now already. Even in 2 days, I've sort of binge watched it, although you've only watched 1 episode, and honestly, it's just so good, so good.
Yeah, I've watched all of season 1 of Queer Eye, and I've watched the first episode. I only watched the first episode yesterday, actually. And it is good. It is good. I really like it.
Yeah, no, I thought it was really good. The fact that they had, well, I was speaking about it a moment ago, about the fact that one of them Bobby wouldn't go into the church. He'd vowed to never go into church again. Do you remember at the start when they went to see what it looked like? He just didn't want to go in at all. And I was like, although I don't know whether he actually went into a church afterwards. It never showed that, did it? I know they had a conversation, but
I know. When we watch this at the start, basically, there's a guy in it, Bobby Beck, who looks after or Bobby Burke. Is it Burke? I don't know. He
I
looks
couldn't
after
even
the
guess.
design. I think he's the one to me that, as much as I love the other ones, but he's the one that works the hardest, but gets very
Oh
little.
my god,
He gets very little
he
credit.
changes so much.
I know, and we'll spend like 15 minutes choosing out a pair of trousers, and it's like 2 seconds on a whole house.
Ugh,
But
massive impact.
I think he's from a religious family, and the church. The story you get told in basically is that the church turned against him when he came out. He was gay, and I was kind of waiting. I was like, in there, cynical me eating my popcorn, thinking, I bet you by the end he's going to be in that church singing with all the rest of them. And I was surprised that they didn't show him going into the church. I thought that would be. I thought at the start it was a bit contrived for TV, but then they didn't show him going into the church, which maybe thinks, as much as they had a nice talk about it, that they, he was like, this is all very nice, but it doesn't help him anyway. So he's going to stand by his morals, which I thought was really good.
I mean, it's a growth, I guess, isn't it? You can't be expected to. Cause I assume that even though they say it's a week, I assume it's pretty much a week as well. I can, or not much longer than that. And to change something or belief that it had for such a long time, it still might be physically difficult to go into the church if you've not been able to for such a long time.
Yeah, and I think it kind of helps the show ground itself, because I think what I love about this show is it's sort of one of the first shows, or one of the mainstream shows on TV at the minute, that doesn't bring in a gay character as a punchline. These are gay characters who are gay people, not even characters, they're real people, able to just do what they're good at and do it well, and the TV show is about them. And I never watched the original series. I don't know if you did.
No, I didn't. No. I mean, we were quite young then, I guess, isn't it? Like, I don't know when you came out, but I definitely didn't think I was gay, so I would not be able to watch that in my house.
I wouldn't even know when it was.
No.
I don't. Oh God, I think. Yeah,
it would have been like 15 years ago for sure. Yeah, like 15 to 20 years ago.
Yeah, which is, I mean, it's back then even better. Like, it did a lot, but at the same time, I just thought it was. Thinking back now, it was still a bit. I don't know, what's the word?
I have no idea.
I don't know either. I'm trying to just
relevant,
say that. Well, not relevant. It's more contrived. It was more of a, look, these gay people, all they're good for is fashion and this and that, and stereotypical. It was a bit more stereotypical.
Did you see any episode though? Because I don't know whether it was exactly the same as it is now, or if it was just, I'll look pretty, here's how to be more like sassy.
I have no idea. I've never watched one episode, so I could be totally wrong. You're right.
I know. I was going to say, because you don't know, it might be exactly the same. I mean, they had 5 different people doing 5 different things. So,
yeah,
Carson Kressley was like the style guru, but he was also the main person. But they fixed parts of their lives. Maybe you should watch an episode. We'll try and watch an episode, and then next time we'll say, okay, actually, it's exactly the same, or maybe it was a bit much, because I'd be interested to see, really.
Yeah, that's true.
What would have been like back then. It had to have been like 15 to 20 years ago, because it definitely did. It was in school, like secondary school and stuff. So
yeah,
it has more. It must have more of an impact now though than back then. I don't know what channel it was on, but maybe I know more gay.
4, or I don't know.
But it seems to have a massive impact now with many people. I mean, obviously, with the gays and stuff, a lot of them like it. But even because like, obviously, I keep saying obviously. But with gays and stuff, sometimes it's about, you might be particularly camp, or you might be, masculine, or, anything on the spectrum in terms of like femininity and stuff. And like, for me personally, I try not to worry about it too much. I think that like, I can be really feminine a lot of the time, which I appreciate. And it comes out sometimes, it normally comes out in a group of people, or when you want to put a little, show on whatever, when everyone's get a little bit hyped and stuff. And then sometimes, your masculine side comes out in different areas. Sometimes when I'm a bit angry, or, playing rugby, it's quite easy to be masculine in some way of playing sports, because there's a lot of testosterone. And I like the fact that there's a big old mix on Queer Eye with that, you've got Jonathan, who's the best person.
Oh, I'm in love with Jonathan.
Oh my God! Imagine even with this podcast, and I don't know if we said it, but imagine if we managed to get actual like guests and stuff on it, and then he came on, because I was listening to a podcast. You could say names of other podcasts, right?
Yeah, of course, yeah.
Oh, because the one that you told me, which was Throwing Shade.
I love Throwing Shade,
which is amazing. And then he was on it, and I was like, everything about you is amazing. Everything.
Which is funny, because I love Jonathan Van Ness. I know him from Game of Thrones, which
Yeah, you used to send me those.
I think they're brilliant. But whenever I was watching the first season of Queer Eye, my mom watched a couple of episodes with me, and she could not stand him.
Obviously.
And I was just like, Mom, what is your problem? She's like, oh, he's just over the top. There's no real no. And I was just like, Mom, just back in your little box. Some people like to express themselves in different ways, and who are you to judge them? So, but
People go over it though, because I think some people started that series thinking that way, and by the end, I guess you have to watch. Maybe you don't have to, but see more episodes of it and actually see like it's completely okay, and it's not like an act, and he might be over the top, but still like so genuine and so selfless almost.
Oh my God, he is one of the nicest people I've ever seen on TV.
Oh my God, I can't believe it. So funny.
Such
so
a
funny.
beautiful soul. I think and I'm sure there'll be people out there who you know as well, but there'll be people out there who think, and I can sometimes think this as well, but there's not enough sort of, I don't want to say masculine gay guys on TV, but
there's only you. I know you're super masculine.
That's
great. Look at giggle. And he always puts on his little like, oh no, he's abs and stuff. He always puts masculine, looking for mask. And I'm like, Ashley, you're really not, babes. You're really not.
What did I do? Sorry, what did you say?
You always say how masculine you are all the time. And
no, I don't think. I think I might play on it a bit, but I think I'm very similar to you. Like whenever we're together, I'm camp as fuck, and I'm not embarrassed about that. I love it. Like,
no.
I think similar
Apparently
to you.
I elevate people up, but I got it from my friend Ollie Swanton, because I was not as camp as I was until I met him, and then suddenly we became friends. And anytime I'm around a gaggle of gays, I'm like, bah! I don't know. It just comes out.
But I think that it's sort of for me anyway. It's sort of like what society put on you, like.
Mm-hmm.
And I think what's nice about having people like Jonathan Van Ness, I've totally gone off on a tangent now. I can't remember what I was talking about before. But having people like Jonathan on Queer Eye is really good because, oh yes, I was talking about having, like, people often say that the representativity of masculine gay guys on TV isn't there. It's always sort of these like really camp OTT people, which I can sort of see that. I don't think there is very many masculine gay guys on TV that I can think of. But at the same time, I don't think there needs to be. I don't think, I think when you think about why we put people on TV for this, I don't want to sound like for the sake of entertainment, but for the sake of representation, masculine gay guys have it easier because it's easy for them to blend in with what society deems as normal.
100%. 100%. So, and I guess the idea is if you're masculine, you're not going to necessarily be noticeable on a show straight away.
You know? Exactly. And I think what having people like Jonathan on TV does, it makes, it's like these people are okay. Like there's nothing nasty about them. There's nothing vicious about them. They're just people who, like for Jonathan, like we said, he's a beautiful soul, lovely person, makes me laugh nonstop. And it just kind of lets the queer flag fly, I think, doesn't it? Because it's like a nice mix of people. Am I making sense, or am I just talking gobbledy?
No, I definitely think it makes sense. I wouldn't necessarily like, because I wouldn't want to necessarily say separate myself from saying like Jonathan, because I wouldn't say like they are okay and stuff. I think it'd be like we are okay. And there's an episode where there's a transgender person on there, and I think like the idea is that everybody's okay to be themselves, and that he's a representation of that. And so the other four that are on it, they're okay as a representation of themselves. Because even though we're all gay people in some way, or queer people, or non-conforming, all these sorts of things, for me, it's the idea that everything is okay. As long as you're not harming others, then there's no reason why there should be a problem with it. So that's the only thing I would say. I'd kind of rephrase it in a way that was more like, not like they're okay, as in we are all okay as we are kind of thing. Does that make sense?
Did I say they?
You kept on referring to like, oh, you know, people like Jonathan, they're okay. And I'm like, well, that's not necessarily, in my opinion, the correct way of putting it, because then that's separating what he is and they are to what you are. And although we are different, the idea in my head is that we are all okay. So
yeah, that's good.
Yeah. Does that make sense?
Yeah, no, totally. I think I apologize. I think one thing in
It's probably just like semantics in terms of words and stuff or wording. I'm sure you didn't mean like anything like that, but that's just the way that I would probably express it. I would say more than anything.
Well, no, you're right. It's a better way of expressing. Obviously didn't mean to like separate in any way, because the whole point of the message is that we're all about inclusivity and everybody being together. And
because one of the things that came up actually, me and Jordan, one of our friends, Jordan, we were having this conversation because recently on TV, and I had the same conversation with my twin brother, Christopher. And it was good to have different sides about, just gender in general, but also trans people, because I think there are groups of gay, bisexual, lesbian people that say that the T shouldn't be added to LGBT because it's not necessarily the same. And so if they're going to have a group, it shouldn't be classified under the LGBT. It should just be LGB, and then T would be T, and plus would be its own thing. Have you ever heard that conversation before?
Yeah, I have heard that. Yeah.
And we were just talking about it. I mean, I never really came to any sort of conclusion, because I don't necessarily strongly agree or disagree. I would understand the argument that trans people aren't the same as gay. Like, for me, that makes sense, because it's not necessarily the same. Although it can be similar in some way, it's not the same. For me, queer society is the same. Under all differences from just being like heteronormative. But what's important is that the reason why it should be there, in my opinion, is because I think like marginalized groups of people and those that have had sort of similar experiences and difficult times and, persecution in any way should band together, because the support will come together. If you can be supported by other groups and not just your own, for me, that's the kind of the end goal, that we all support each other. If it was just me by itself and then they weren't supported and then it was just gays, because before the trans movement that's coming through now, it was gays. It was gays, and it's going through a somewhat similar experience. And you need lesbians and people clubbing together, and the trans people helped gay people come forward, to be honest. So although you don't need to classify them necessarily as the same, I think the support is necessary from everyone so that everybody can just live their life,
Yeah, no, totally. I think it's yeah, I think you're right. I think back Stonewall years, it was a whole mix of different people who fought together to get where we are today. And I guess I'm trying to think, do I know any trans people? I don't think I do.
I don't think I know any outwardly ones. No. And it's strange being surrounded by all like the gays and stuff. But I guess it's rugby, so maybe it's a bit different because it's got like, like, I don't know, old school boy element to it that people had like with sports and stuff.
Yeah.
But yeah, even with the Steelers, I don't think there's anyone that I know that or even seen that's like openly, or someone that I could recognize maybe potentially.
Yeah, I mean, we have a lot of drag queens that are like friendly with the club friendly. For example, Rose, who's our honorary vice president, isn't it, or something?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, we've got vice presidents.
But I'd like to understand the perspective from a trans person on this, how they feel about being part of the LGBT. And I think even more, I'd probably say somebody who's not gay. So it's somebody who, for example, I don't know, am I explaining it right? Somebody who's like straight, who identifies as straight but is trans. Is that a thing? That's a thing, isn't it?
They're still trans, though, aren't they?
Yeah, but sorry, I grew up there. But I'm trying to say the difference is, I'd like to know how these people feel, how trans people feel being clumped together with gays and lesbians, because I think a lot of the argument is it's about your gender versus your sex.
For sure. Because I think you could be a transgendered gay person, right?
But you can also be a transgender straight person.
Yeah, and I think it's it might be easy to assume that because you're transgender. Although I think some people ask them, so do you like men or do you like women? And then they'll be like, well, as a transgender male to female, for example, I like men. And then they'll be like, yeah, that makes sense. But then it might not always be the case. I mean, I don't know. I can't say. And I haven't done like any research on it. But I think that, yeah, they are separate. They're completely separate. And so I think that's why it might be different as well, though.
Yeah, so let's take like Caitlyn Jenner, for example. A man became a woman, and I'm guessing she's now attracted to females because she was straight before.
That's what you would assume?
Yeah. Is that right? Is it wrong to assume that?
I think it's wrong to assume that for sure.
Oh, why? Why would you say that?
Because I mean, the history and the past, and the fact that she would have had sexual relationships with women while she was a male, might not necessarily because she was attracted to them, but also might be attracted to both.
Well, then would you say that she's bisexual then?
I have no idea what Caitlyn Jenner is in terms of her sexuality. I do know that as a gender, she identifies as female.
Yeah, which
I
is
think that once someone's transitions, it doesn't necessarily change their sexuality, personal preference, whatever you'd call it. Sexuality, right?
yeah, I'd say sexuality.
Yeah, sexuality. It wouldn't change your sexuality. I would assume, if I'm going to make an assumption, it would be that sexuality doesn't really change based on your gender. But sexuality can be fluid on its own.
Yeah, but if somebody's straight,
Okay.
and they transgender to become the different sex,
They were straight before they transgendered.
yeah. So
Transitions, pardon me, transgendered. Yeah.
yeah, I said it wrong. Transitions, yes, that's right. And they were straight, and they transitioned to become the opposite sex, but they were still attracted to the original sex that they were attracted to. Then they're, in theory, for example, male to female, still attracted to female. That's a lesbian.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. I wonder how often that would happen, though. That's quite interesting, isn't it?
Yeah.
The only examples I would have seen on the few things I would have seen in television is it in terms of the spectrum. And I don't know about you when, like, before you came out and stuff, but in terms of coming to realization and acceptance of who you are, it's kind of like a scale. So I started off as straight, and then I was like, oh, maybe I do like seeing some guys. And then first time I told someone that I liked guys, I didn't say that I was gay. I said that I liked men and women, which was not true. Not true at all. And then eventually it came out to, actually, I feel like I'm just attracted to men. And
Yeah.
it might be the same for transgenders. And I think a lot of some might just say, first they'll come out as gay men. Say if it was a male to female, we keep saying male to female, but it might be the same for female to males as well. But as a male to female, as a teenager and growing up, before they necessarily recognize or are able to accept that they're transgender, they might just say that they are gay. And then realize, actually, it's not just that I'm attracted to the same sex, I'm not necessarily in the right body. So they would have been straight at one point, say a straight male, then a gay male, then transitioned to a straight female. But the attraction was the same, the sexuality part was the same. It was just the gender part that was the confusing part. So they assumed, or it's easier to say, or, the transition part was, I'm gay, when actually, in fact, that's not true. But there's not necessarily at this point in time a step from straight, unless the children, because I know children nowadays, it's happening at quite a young age in certain places in the world where, there are children that are 8, 9, 10 years old that are transitioning. And that's got to do now with, whether it's parenting and all that sort of stuff. But I think, probably nowadays a bit before us, that was the transition. If you're going by a scale, it was straight male or straight person, gay person, transgender person. Does that make sense?
Yeah, no, it does. And I think I did exactly the same thing. I was attracted to girls at the start, and then it was actually maybe I like boys and girls, and actually that was a total lie. I just full on like boys. I guess I mean everyone has their own stories to tell, and everybody has their own experiences. And as people who aren't trans in any way, like we don't know what it's like to go through that transition. I'm sure
Absolutely not.
I'm sure you.
Absolutely not.
I'm sure everyone has different experiences as well. Like everyone's coming out story is a different experience. So, but if you have a story to tell that you'd like, if you have a story that you'd like us to tell, I'll get it right yet. If you have a story that you'd like to tell us, I'll do it without laughing. Don't worry, I'll edit all this out. Don't worry. If you have a story you'd like to tell us about your transition, then yeah, please make sure you email us at honesttopodcast@gmail.com, and yeah, we'll review it and correct anything that we might have said that's a bit insensitive, because again, I'll call myself ignorant. I'm very ignorant for a lot of stuff.
Same, yeah. I think it'd be so interesting to learn more about this, because we've only spoken about the labels, but it's about those that also like don't have labels and don't want to conform to that. So it's so interesting. I find it unbelievably interesting, and I think it's quite special. And hopefully we get to a place in this world and all this sort of stuff where we don't necessarily have to label ourselves and people can feel safe.
Exactly, because that's what I think is the most important. Like, how dare anyone take away somebody else's safety for being who they are? I think it's
That was literally what I was about to say as well.
incredibly selfish and sad, and it just upsets me so much.
It's so crazy how and I was watching Queer Eye again. I think they touch on, I don't know how they do it, but they touch on everybody's stories. It seems like
I do love it.
Yeah. In one bloody episode, they get everyone. But if you're not affecting anyone, so the episode that I was talking about, the transgender person, if you watch at the end and how open everyone is in their community and stuff, I'm like, and how happy they are. Why can't everyone just experience that? In what world is it okay to take away someone's happiness? And they're doing no harm to anyone else.
Yep.
It just, I was dumbfounded. I was like, how anyone in the world could think this person should not be happy if they are not hurting anyone and they just want to be who they want to be. What right does anyone else have to say that? But, it's the world we live in, I guess. And, over in the UK, I think personally, I find it a little bit easier in London and being in the UK. I've never really suffered in any way, shape or form. But, in other parts of the world, I couldn't only imagine. I'll never experience the experiences that they have. But yeah, no, I agree with you. Just let people be. Let them do them. You do you, girl. That's what everyone could have said on holiday in particular. You do you.
If my biggest worry in life was like somebody else's happiness, I would what's the point? Like, it just frustrates me. What were you going to say there?
I was going to go back to the beginning of the story, which was, how was your weekend? So you had your birthday. It got a bit deep there. So I was like,
that is the longest tangent in the world. Note to selves, Matt. In future episodes, we need to be a bit more focused and structured, I think.
But this is why, when I give you a phone call and I'm like, I'm just going to give Ashley a quick half an hour call because, and then it turns into 2.5 hours. And I'm like, oh my God.
Yeah, it's true.
These tangents are ridiculous. We'll try and focus it and we'll get some feedback anyway. So I'm sure and this is a little plug as I could say, so, this is our first podcast and we definitely want to continue doing it and enjoying it and making it enjoyable for everybody else. So let us know how you feel about it. We're going to send this out to our friends. And for those that we might not have met yet, but will be our friends, then you can let us know. What's our Twitter?
Oh, Honest to Pod. It's Honest to Pod across the board.
Honest to Pod across the board. So yeah, let us know how you feel. And then we'll definitely take all of the feedback on board because then it'll be more enjoyable for everyone. And we've plenty of laughs.
Yeah, and if you go to honesttopod.com, you can leave comments and questions and everything in the little box there in the contact us section, and it will come straight through to us. It'll come through to me. I've not set you up on anything yet, have I?
No. But you can do the admin. You know how I feel about it. Yeah, no, I'm just, what do you call it? The talent. I'm just the talent, and you just run it for us. That's fine. Never joking. You should send me.
I will get you
because you'll just filter out all the feedback and you'll be like, oh, Ashley McAllister's great. He's got a really great sounding voice and he's just so funny. But and then you'll tell me this, and then be like, but Matt Ali, he just needs to work on the way that he speaks. His laugh is too loud, all that sort of shit. And I'm like, actually, that's all of the feedback. Like, no, it's definitely all of it.
Every single bit of feedback.
Definitely all of it. I'm like, okay, all right. Well, I must believe you because you have all of the information.
And I'm so trustworthy as well, right?
You're so trustworthy, So yeah, I'll just keep on working on me. But you're perfectly fine. You do you.
Yes. So yes, you can leave us comments, and please do leave us comments and correct anything that I've said because I can be a bit ignorant of things, and it's not a case that I'm trying to be nasty.
I'm not.
It's,
no, definitely.
Maybe it's because I'm more switched off because I live in small town Ireland.
Do you feel like you reverted in some way going back to small town Ireland? I say reverted. Do you think anything has changed since you've come from small little island?
Yeah,
it's Northern Ireland, isn't it? You live in?
Yeah. I'm here with the DUP and everything that comes with the DUP.
You're part of it now.
Oh, yes, I joined the DUP.
So you just said.
No. DUP obviously a government body here, and I've not joined the DUP. I don't. Well, they wouldn't have me for a start, would they? They'd be like, "Get the hell out of our office."
Because of the terrible outfit, or because of something else?
Because of the way I dress, yes.
Yeah, terrible clothes.
Yeah, they'd be like, "I'm sorry, we need people with more style. You need to fashion.
Loud.
You need to fashion yourself after Arlene Foster."
How does she dress?
You don't know.
Those that don't know, because I know exactly who she is. I don't know who she is, but
what I want you to do is Google Arlene Foster right now.
Okay.
And tell us what you think about Arlene on the phone or on this.
All right, I'll do that now.
You
But
give us,
apart from,
you give us your queer eye on Arlene Foster, please.
I would love to queer eye someone and then bring them onto the show and then let them tell about the experiences. Because oh my god, oh sugar, her hair is so bad. This is where you need Jonathan, okay? Because he would. Oh, there's this picture with her laughing. It reminds me of you. Like she's got 17 chins. As she's laughing.
Let's see. Let's see the picture. Let's see it. Hold it up.
Well, hold it to the camera.
Yeah.
Hold on one sec.
This is super fun for people listening, but
Where is it? Oh no!
Oh, I think it went.
It did. I get it. Is she a pride?
She is a gem. Like,
look at this hair. Look at this one.
I mean,
that used to be my favorite wig when I first became part of DJs. Remember?
Yeah. What do you ask for to get that in the hairdressers?
I think you asked for the bob or the Robert. Oh, she's really bad. So yeah. She's still the party leader?
Oh, yeah, she is. Well, we don't have a government at the minute, so she's getting paid to do nothing. But essentially, yes, Northern Ireland, small town. I think I don't know. I don't really have any gay friends here, which is a bit weird. But
many fag hags?
No, I don't really. I have a female friend, but I wouldn't class her as a fag hag.
Yeah, they are definitely different.
Yeah.
Okay.
But I'd like, and she won't mind me saying this, but she's more of a tomboy. Like she is, like she works in pub. Well, we work together now, but she works in pubs. And like she's very down to earth. She's not very girly.
Okay.
And she'd be one of my closest friends here. But I think. Yeah, I don't really know. I don't think I've changed anyway. I think I might have just been a bit more. I want to say the word tame, or maybe the word's boring.
You were quite boring before. In all fairness, I think that just like London highlighted and lifted you up. No, do you see like where you're from differently then?
I don't think. I think part of the problem is the problem I put on the place I'm at. I don't think it is as homophobic as I had in my head. Is that what you mean?
It might be that. You might have a newfound appreciation for it. You think, I'd left it. I always thought, I had to leave my country place to go to the big city. But actually, when you come back, it's not that bad like this. It's not as homophobic. Actually, people are quite open, blah, blah, blah. Things like that.
I think it made me appreciate where I grew up a lot more. I think I kind of matured a lot in London, and coming back as a year old man, I think I've a newfound appreciation for the quieter side of things. I think the worst thing about London is the people in London.
In what way?
Well, I'd also say the best thing about London is the people in London as well. Because you have London, and when you're in there, you've got the mentality of like, everyone is so busy, everyone's so rushed, everything is just, you don't really have time for anybody. So whenever I do meet friends when I live in London, it was great because it was valued time, and you sort of like said, okay, like for example, you and I would meet up and we'd go out for drinks or whatever, and it would just be like sometimes just
Nando's. You're talking about drinks.
We'd go for chicken and then more chicken. But I don't know. I think I'm waffling a lot here, but I enjoy the quiet life, but I also miss the city life as well. I think
it's tough.
Yeah.
I mean, I guess you go from two extremes because London is obviously like the epitome of like super crazy city life.
Yeah.
There must be like towns and cities that might have a similar vibe, but isn't as crazy. Brighton, I like Brighton. I think there's lots of things to do in Brighton. I also think it's very close. It's nice to see. The people are sort of nice. And that's the kind of place where you'd find a middle ground and be able to almost experience both. Whereas London's a bit too much. I'm from London, born and raised here, and there's many friends that I've made over the years. I might see them once every couple of years, and it's not like you're doing it on purpose. And we're sitting here now on a Sunday, really just talking. So I do have free time in general, but it's just weird, isn't it? Like how to like match times and calendars together and stuff, and trying to figure out how it works. And I don't think you necessarily get that outside of London.
No, I think small town like where I'm at the minute, it's a lot easier Well, I don't know. It's a lot easier to make plans of somebody, but then I don't think people are as committed to plans as when they are in London. For example, if you and I were to make plans to go have chicken, we'll stick to those plans unless something like an emergency comes up.
Mm.
Here, because people's time is a bit more wishy-washy, and like, if I made plans with somebody, there would be no qualms in being like, actually, I'm not going to go out tonight because
That is like the opposite of what you like, though. You must hate that, or do you
oh my
change?
god, it drives me insane. Oh my god.
Yeah, I was going to say the reason why we would meet up because I probably do that to other people. I'd never do that to you because you'd kill me.
I would kill you. Pet hate of mine. If we got plans, stick to the plans. Unless somebody has died, then don't cancel plans with me because I 3 strikes. And it happened with somebody I worked with, or not somebody I worked with. What happened with somebody here where it was like, oh, let's meet up, and then on the Friday it would be like, oh, I can't meet up. It happened 3 weeks in a row, and then I was like, I'm not making plans with this person anymore because
That's bad, though.
it's like if you don't respect my time, why should I give you any of it? Type of thing.
I was having that recently, actually. So, so part of the dramas that sort of happened over the holidays is there's someone who I'm friends with, but also, so I've had this thing. I think I've told you before, actually, but I'll say it anyway. When I first met you, I was like super attracted to you, and I wanted to be in your pants. And then we became friends, and everything was fine. And that happens to me far too often, right? Like literally, my best friends, I always really love them loads, and I'm like, I don't know what the problem is, but this happened recently where someone was really, really flaky, and I would never tolerate that with like a regular friend. Like if you would, if you were not best friends, I guess, but as I'm building a relationship with someone I want to get to know, whatever, if they started being flaky towards me, I'd be like, what am I doing? But then because, I was really attracted to this person, I just let this shit happen. I just let it go on, and then it messed up my mind, and it's not fun because it makes you feel really, really bad when people start being really flaky and start, breaking plans that you have. And it's one-on-one plans. It's not like a group thing where I'm doing nothing.
You broke up there a bit, Matt.
What part did it sound like?
You got up to one-on-one plans, and then
yeah. So and the problem is it was one-on-one plans, and so if you don't show up to what we're doing, then now I have nothing to do. And, I might have been waiting a couple of days, or, I could have had other plans, or, once you've worked your way up to doing something and then someone says, oh, actually, I'm not coming all of a sudden, you're like, well, all right, I'll just sit home and watch TV then, shall I?
Yeah, exactly.
Which is a great day, except I didn't really plan for that. So.
Yeah, it's sort of like you build something in your head and look forward to something. And that person, like, cancels. It's just like, be honest. Like, if you know you can't come, cancel like days in advance. Don't wait to the last minute and then tell the lies of like, oh, I'm trying to get there, but this, and this. Just
you definitely know they know. Yeah,
exactly.
You definitely know they know.
Oh god, people are the worst.
Is that still happening to you now in Ireland then?
No,
that one person.
No, I think it does happen. It doesn't happen that much. I think
because you have no friends left. Because you breaking up with you. So it's literally just you, your mum.
I cross them all off like with a big red pen. I'm like, nope, nope. I'm cutthroat.
Is it now a 6-strike rule because you've run out of friends, or is it still 3 strikes?
I lowered it like 1 strike. Cut through.
Why would you do that? Yeah,
cut through the crap. Cut through the crap quickly. Don't waste your time.
That's how you go into CrossFit and get new friends as well to cross off the list.
Yeah, exactly. That's how I spend my days here, recruiting new people so I can get angry at them and cross them off the list quickly.
That doesn't surprise me about you, to be honest. You do like to complain about other people a lot.
I do.
So that would make sense.
Well, that's just it. So back to me again on my weekend. So my birthday weekend, I went to see Joe Lycett, which is a very funny comedian, who identifies as bisexual.
Yep.
And he's pansexual. I think he.
Really?
Yeah.
Is that what he said at the show?
I'm sure, unless I'm remembering it wrong, but I'm sure he said he was a bisexual, pansexual.
Okay.
So,
pansexual has got to do with the fact that you have no gender.
Is it? Is that what it is?
No, that's non-binary.
Non-binary. I think pansexual is, because there's so much at the minute. Pansexual is like you're attracted to. I think it's like you're attracted to both, but there's not one quality about either that you find attractive. So like, you might find one male attractive for being really masculine, but then you might find another male attractive for being exactly the opposite. Like, you might find them attractive for being bubbly, or for dressing well. I think that's what it is. Let me just.
But you wouldn't be bisexual and pansexual, then you just be pansexual, right?
Well, I think bisexual just means you're attracted to both. Like if I was gay and pansexual, I might be gay but attracted to, for example, the same scenario, a male for being really masculine but attracted to another male for being totally different. Like
okay.
I think I'm, again, if somebody's out there who identifies as this, please let us know. I have no idea. So
I don't know about
sorry, what is that?
pansexual, no, not at all. From what you're saying, it's just, like some people just, because pansexual, I don't really know what it is then at all from what we're saying, but it would be like if you like just, every type of person based on that individual as opposed to that their characteristics, or that,
Yeah.
Like, I only like blonde hair, I only like green eyes, I only like tall people kind of thing, or
well,
whatever. It's just like.
Well, Urban Dictionary define it as one who, I don't know if this is the best place to get definition.
I was going to say.
Maybe I'll try somewhere.
Wikipedia says, wait, I just wrote it.
Well, actually, there's articles here, pansexual versus bisexual. So I guess they're
two different things.
Maybe they can't do both. Well, Deadpool is a pansexual superhero. It says that here.
So on Throwing Shade, they were talking about that. Have you listened to them? They were talking about superheroes and the fact that although there are characters that are pansexual, bisexual, gay, they don't actually engage in any sort of relevant behaviors, like a relationship. If it's a female who's lesbian, although in the comic world they know they're lesbian, they don't engage in any sort of lesbian relationships. They have no sexual relationships.
Yeah, I did listen to that episode. I think what's really good in Deadpool 2 is there's a lesbian relationship.
Okay.
There is a lesbian. I couldn't tell you the characters, but they're lesbians.
Are they superheroes?
They are superheroes. Yep.
Oh, amazing.
Have you seen any of the Deadpool films?
Absolutely not. No. I feel like I haven't watched a film. I don't know, in like the past. I'd be surprised if I watched 2 films this year in any way, shape, or form. Not even in cinema, but I mean, like.
Have you not seen Black Panther?
I'm embarrassed to say I have not, because I was talking to someone about this the other day.
Oh my god! Oh my god!
I feel like as a POC, I need to watch Black Panther, but I haven't.
Oh my god! My mom hasn't seen it either. You're like my mom.
I'm not like your mum. Your mum's an old white Irish woman, and similar to you.
Wait. What have you got against old white Irish woman?
If she said she didn't watch Black Panther, most people are like, fair. But I haven't been asked many times actually, but I've only been asked twice in the past week. And as you know, it's quite a lot because I don't know why. I think we're talking about films. I was like, I don't watch films, not for any particular reason.
It's also just come out on release, I think, this week. So,
but I think. Do you think there's an assumption that if you're black, you've watched it? Do you think?
I don't think there's an assumption that if you're black, you should have watched it or you must have watched it. My assumption came from my shock that you've not seen it. Is the fact that it's such a good film and the fact that you've got good taste and you only go to see good stuff. And if you're going to see, and as a person of color, I'd say it was celebrated as one of the most, and it's like, I love the Marvel universe anyway, so I didn't go see it to be like jumping on the bandwagon of
for sure.
Like I've seen
but you love films. You watch films all the time.
All the time. The point I'm getting at, my mom is now watching Marvel films because she has heard so many good things about Black Panther, about the series as well. But I think it was Black Panther really stood out for her when it came out this year. She's like, I think it was what made her want to watch it because she was a bit like, well, this is getting so many good reviews. It's a good film because it's a good film. It's
for sure. I think a lot of people said that. There was no, just because of what it was and stuff. And I just want to be clear, I'm not watching it. I just haven't watched films.
Why do you hate black people?
They're too much. They're too loud, they're too extra. Imagine an entire film full of black people. It'd be so loud, you wouldn't be able to hear anything. You're watching the film and someone in the audience will scream something like, don't do that. And you wouldn't be sure if it was the person in the film or someone in the audience. So that's why I haven't watched it, okay?
Well...
I hope this doesn't go out.
I'm keeping this in.
But I do enjoy people of all races. I just haven't watched films because if it isn't Dreamgirls, it really doesn't entice me. Honestly, if people aren't singing, the last thing I went to see in the cinema was The Greatest Showman.
Oh God, I couldn't think of anything worse.
Are you kidding me?
What?
Such a good film.
What makes it good?
My God. What makes a good film for me is a really poor plot, decent acting, and great singing. Like, honestly, that's all I need. I don't need a good story. The problem with good stories is I can't concentrate for long enough. So I watch things, TV and films for there's a high chance that I'm going to fall asleep. So if it's like a deep story and I miss a lot of it, then, why am I there? Why am I watching it? So
I don't think you have to worry about that with the Marvel films. They're designed to entertain kids.
You have no idea. Just hold on 1 second, actually. You have no idea. If it's a dark place or anything that has sound, I can fall asleep anywhere. I can fall asleep absolutely anywhere. And the cinema is a place that I fall asleep very, very often. And for some people obsessed with, if they put on a film, then you have to turn off the lights. Right?
At home? You mean when you're watching?
Yeah. Let's put a film and let's turn off the lights. And you're like, well, of course I'm going to fall asleep then.
Yeah, some people are weird like that. I don't mind it. I don't like. I like it both ways. I think if the if the film is if the lights are off, I think I focus more. But I think there's a higher risk that I'll fall asleep because
exactly.
Yeah, at home, I have fallen asleep at the cinema a few times. And
the problem with films is if I know what's going to happen in it, if anything. So I like playing computer games, I like reading books, and I do like watching TV shows. But if I know what's going to happen, I will instantly lose interest. So I've never read a book twice. Once I play a game and I've beat it, I won't play it again.
Oh, wow.
Unless the singing is unbelievable that I can sing along with it. Do you see why it's important to have music? Because it will always bring you back. And you can sing along with it.
It's important to have music. What I'm taking away from this is important to have music because my attention span is so low that if I don't have something that can involve me, I don't care.
100%. If I'm not involved, I'm not interested. Absolutely.
You're talking about you've not read. I'm rereading the Game of Thrones books just at the minute.
There's no way, man. They're too big.
No, they're so.
Do you know what I just finished recently? Well, I haven't finished it. I'm almost finished it.
Okay, let's talk about you again.
Yeah, I was gonna say it's more important because I'm not interested otherwise. It's Lord of the Rings. You know how I've been trying to read it since I was 14, and now I'm 30 years old.
Yeah.
I'm near the end.
You're reading it for the first time.
For the first time. I mean, no. I will say that there were a number of times I've started it and then didn't read it for a couple of years and then started it again. And because it's so boring that it's really hard to get through. Really hard to get through.
Are you enjoying it anymore now you're finished, or has it been a struggle all the way through?
It's been a struggle the entire way through. The only interesting part, I feel like I'm not allowed to give plot things away, but Lord of the Rings everyone knows. And I've never seen the films, and over the weekend, look, listen. Do they sing in Lord of the Rings?
They're singing. Seriously? No. they break out into like musical dance and
no. For me to watch Lord of the Rings, the problem is that the 2 times I tried to watch The Fellowship of the Ring, it was at 9 p.m. Mm-hmm. I think for Lord of the Rings, I need to get up at 8. I planned it. I need to get up at 8, have breakfast, watch something for about an hour, then watch it. So it's about 11. Then I'll be able to get through it without falling asleep. Otherwise, there's just no way. There's no way. And yeah, the book wasn't interesting apart from when Sam finally found Frodo. Then he was working way through the orcs and stuff, and then he was naked and thinking he was going to die, and he carried him on his back and stuff. That bit I flew through. That was really interesting
because it involved Hobbit nudity, right?
The actor who played him is not hot.
But you've not seen the film, have you?
Frodo. Well, I mean, everyone knows who played Frodo. Elijah Wood.
Yeah, but you're going off your imagination here.
Well, I can't because I know who they've cast as it in the film, so that's all I can picture.
Yeah, but you don't know what Elijah was like naked, do you?
Oh, I didn't imagine it because I wouldn't care.
Okay.
That's not attractive to me in any shape or form. So, yeah. Why? You don't see fully naked Elijah Wood or Frodo, do you?
Yeah, of course. It's a porno.
I see. I
It's
think I've been watching something else.
Lord of the Ring.
Oh, okay.
Do you know what I mean?
All right.
Do you know what I'm talking about? You know that
I
porno?
do now. No, I haven't seen it. I was wondering why everyone was so interested in these shit films. I've obviously watching the wrong one. I obviously watched like some sort of shitty remake where they have someone that looks really famous in it who plays like a wizard, but obviously he's not famous because he porno.
You're breaking
and
up
yeah,
again.
the rest of the film was really, really boring. Terribly boring. The rest of the film, Fellowship of the Ring, I've only seen. The Fellowship of the Ring is terrible, but I've only managed to watch 30 minutes of it so far. So I will try soon. Well, I need to try now. So we also have another rule about films. I can't watch the films until I finish the books. And because I haven't finished the books, I won't watch the films.
Oh,
because if I know the plot, then I'm not going to finish the book.
Yeah, okay.
So yeah.
You and I are very different on this because I watched the TV show, for example, Game of Thrones, and I didn't like it. And then I read the books, and then I rewatched the TV show, and then I became obsessed.
You watched the series first?
I watched the series first, yep. I watched up to season 3 because everybody raved about it, and I was like, right, I'll give it a try. I watched up to season 3, and I was like, I don't get it. What's going on? This is just no.
I said the same thing, but I've read the books already.
Oh, okay, yeah. But then I think it was you that got me into the books, or somebody got me into the books. Was it you? Yeah, I think it was you.
I'd find that really strange if I did. For some reason, I thought you gave me the books. But I did have the books before the series started. The one who gave it to me was Tim, our old chairman.
Yeah.
Yeah, so maybe I did.
Maybe I decided to read them on my own, Todd, but you supported it because you'd already read them or something like that. And then when I read the books, I went back and watched the TV series again, and I fell in love with the TV series. Like, obsessed.
So, with the Game of Thrones, I read all the books, and then I started watching the series, and I didn't like the series. And I watched up to the end of series 4, and I really did enjoy it. So maybe I need to watch it again because I get us to the same friend saying who loves Lord of the Rings and loves films, and he's similar to you in that respect. He loves Lord of the Rings.
Who is this person?
Chris Lawton.
Oh, okay. I was going to say I need to kill him. But
to kill him?
I like Chris. It's fine.
What do you mean to kill him? He was supporting what you're saying.
I know, but you can only have one friend like me.
Oh, okay. There's loads of people that like you. You're really like the same as every other gay from Ireland. So I guess I'd have to kill all my friends. I don't know that many people. Anyway, yeah. What was I talking about? Anyway, I didn't like the series of Game of Thrones, but I should try and watch it again. I think I should try and watch it because, yeah, everyone goes on about it, and I don't like maybe I'm missing something. I don't know, but it's just not good. And then also, now that I've seen all the characters and I felt like they're really miscast from the first 3 series, I could only picture them when I read the books. And I thought the casting for Game of Thrones was terrible. That's what got it for me. The only person who was right at the time in my mind, 2 people actually, was Sean Bean, killed him off immediately. And what's the name of the actor who plays Tyrion?
Peter Dinklage.
Yeah. I thought the only 2 people that were cast correctly, in my opinion, from the imagination that I'd built and all that sort of stuff, and then saw it, there were only 2 people that I was like, that's exactly right. And the rest of it, I was like, who are these people? Like, honestly, they're terrible. I thought Cersei was terrible. I thought Sansa was awful at the time. I was like, no. They said someone pretty, and they chose her, and I was like, she's really average. Really, really average. So, yeah.
Oh,
hear that?
Calling, yeah.
Soz. No, it's good. It's finished now.
Hello, you're
in my studio. My really big
honest to pod.
Yeah. We get calls through. Imagine if it was. I'd be like, "Hey, you're in line 1." It reminds me of Fraser. I love Fraser.
Well, I think if I was to summarize this episode, I have no idea what we've actually talked about. We've talked about Bingham. We've talked about Queer Eye, and we've talked about Game of Thrones. I'd say that's sort of everything.
Pretty much, yeah.
And we still not answered the question what I did the weekend.
No, we did not. It was your birthday weekend and everything.
It was my birthday weekend, and we didn't talk about it
Oh
once.
my god, it was literally that boring. Oh, sorry, babes. You don't like your birthday. You don't like your birthday, so that's
No, I
fine.
don't celebrate birthdays. I don't really care.
It's crazy. I
So,
love my birthday.
yeah, we will save your love of birthdays for another episode.
Okay.
Because I think there's a couple of things we didn't quite define, and I want to go back and correct them. So, somebody who's pansexual is I've lost the definition now because I pressed back on my computer too many times. It's like bisexuality, but even more fluid. A pansexual person can love not only the traditional male and female genders, but also transgendered, androgynous, and gender fluid people.
Amazing.
Yeah, so they're just
that makes sense.
Yeah, they're just free spirits who like different things for different things.
That's really cool.
Yeah. Again, we talked about trans people, didn't we? And like I said, I got a bit of a horse in my throat, or frog in my throat. I think we both said that we don't know anybody who's trans, so we do apologize if we have offended somebody. But if we need corrected on something, then feel free to leave us a comment on honestapod.com. We like to learn. I think one of my motivations about setting up this podcast is to educate myself more and also to meet new people. So hopefully we will be bringing in guests in the future once we kind of get our style worked out. But also let us know what you thought about the style as well. If you're listening, if you've made it this far, let us know what you think. If you like, I always heard that a good podcast is one where it isn't scripted and it's sort of just like you and your friend calling up and having a chat. And this is genuinely what our chats are like on a Sunday night when we'd call each other. In fact, I don't have to talk to you now for another week, which is great.
Yeah. In all fairness, we didn't speak every week, so now we've got to speak every week. My God.
Yeah.
I need to find something more comfortable. So I'm in my living room at the moment and it is boiling. I had to close the windows because my neighbors are bare loud. Like, honestly, they're just screaming their nut off. And then you've probably heard my mum walking a couple of times. And so I've closed the door and stuff.
Yeah, but we keep it real. Like, we keep it real. I came into my office just because it's quieter and there might be a bit of an echo, but again, noisy neighbors, like my mum pottering around, she'd be singing in the background and whatever. But yeah, I
would enjoy it then. I do love a good sing song.
Yeah, this is true. My mum, I genuinely, what drives me insane, my mum I think she only knows 2 lyrics.
To every song or one particular song?
No, 2 lyrics to 2 songs. So, and
she just goes over and over.
The amount of times I've heard Thunderbolt of Lightning, very, very frightening. Yep. Or the only other thing she'd ever sing is If I Only Had a Brain from Wizard of Oz. That's
why those songs?
I have no idea. Like, I bought my mum an Alexa to say, Mum, just say, Alexa, turn on the radio, and then you have all these different songs. No, she doesn't like Alexa. She thinks she's too smug, and she will she will only, that's the only song she'll sing.
Too smug.
Thunderbolt Lightning, very, very frightening, and If I Only Had a Brain. So
I do that when I'm cycling. And I haven't cycled much this year, just so you're clear. But when I do cycle, which I do like to enjoy, I like cycling to work in London. I have this thing where I can only say one line the entire time of a song.
Oh, wow.
And I think maybe it's got something to that rhythm, but I can only say and sing one line of a song.
That's interesting.
And I know many lyrics, but yeah, it's weird. So I understand your mum. I think she's right in what she's doing when she's posturing up.
But you don't, I can understand it. Maybe my mum doesn't really do anything except potter around the house, but you know other songs. I'm sure mum knows other songs as well. But I was thinking, when I'm running, like when I was doing Tough Mudder a few years ago, what got me through was Beyonce in my head. Like, I have to say, Beyonce, can you keep up?
That's not just Beyonce, by the way. It's Destiny's Child.
Oh, we've had this discussion before.
Yeah, because they're completely different. Well, they're not completely different, but I think it's disrespectful to the other two that are involved in the song to say that it was just her when that's not true.
So what other two?
Destiny's Child are amazing. You know how... So Sometimes, have you ever noticed that when we're out, some people say, "Hey, Michelle," you hear it a lot, right? Hey,
No.
Michelle, they're talking to you.
No,
Okay.
no.
Yeah. I know you start whipping your neck back when they say Beyonce, and I'm like, stop it. They're not talking about you, Ashley. And then they'll be like, Michelle, and you're just like, who is this Michelle they're talking about? That was you. You are Michelle.
Right. Apologize to Kelly and Michelle for not realizing that was not just a Beyonce song.
Thank you very much. It's a good song. It's a very good song, but it's not just Beyonce. In fact, they both got really good parts. All three of them have got really good parts in that song,
Have they?
which I enjoy. They do. You need to put it on after this. Yeah. Or we can just get Destiny Child on the show. I'm sure they'll come.
I heard they're rejoining just for this. I mean, Beyonce's in London right now. Why don't you go and grab her?
Oh, I probably should. Is there a show on today on Sunday? Because I know that all of the gays and everyone, and not just the gays, in fact, have gone to see the show.
She was last night, wasn't it? Or Saturday night?
Friday and Saturday.
Yeah.
I saw loads of posts from it, and it was supposed to be really good. And did you know that I went to see Beyonce once, and I did not think it was that good?
Which tour?
Run the World Tour.
Oh, okay.
And I was surprised because, B's my girl, like everyone else, I'm sure. But I was pleasantly.
What did you like about it?
Isn't this strange? Maybe I didn't realize it because I just thought she was so giving and outgoing. I didn't realize how self-centered she was. So, like all of the artsy things about her and how she looks and all her face. I know it's her show. I get it. And I know it sounds ridiculous. It might sound stupid saying it. But I just thought she was really self-centered. And I was like, oh my God, you do love yourself so much. You talk about how humble you are. The thing I like about some people who, people don't like they're too arrogant, it's because at least they're not lying to themselves or other people. But she just loves herself. And you have to love yourself to be at that level. You have to, 100%. It hit me at that point while I was at that concert, and I was like,
Do you think she loves herself, or do you think it's more, I've worked hard to get here and I'm going to enjoy myself?
I honestly believe it's a number of things. She loves herself, which she should.
She's very talented, and
unbelievably so. I also believe that she knows what people want, and people love seeing her, right? They don't like. It's not to see everyone else. Everyone's there to see her and the whole thing.
Yeah, you're paying your £500 to see Beyonce,
right? It's just maybe I'm not that kind of person. I don't have a massive. In terms of like celebrity, I don't really have like a huge thing about celebrities. Like I never really go crazy about like seeing a celebrity in person and stuff like that. And I think that maybe I thought I'd find it more entertaining and a lot more showy. But there was a lot of interludes with like just videos of her, and then another interlude with her just talking, and then there's just another interlude with her doing stuff. And I was like, I just want to hear more songs. I just want to hear more songs and dance.
Yeah.
Maybe it's got something to do with being involved again,
Well, I seen Beyonce's Lemonade tour, and I thought it was one of the best things I've ever seen.
Really?
Yeah, I thought it was brilliant. I just, pardon me. What I liked about it is she paid tribute to Prince in it, because Prince had just died. But she didn't do it she didn't come out and sing a Prince song. She came out, she went off stage and let Prince Purple Rain just play, and everyone in the audience was just singing along. And then I think the lights as well all started turning purple. Did I ever told you about this? I just thought it was beautiful.
No, I didn't know you went.
She didn't. Oh yeah, I went to see Beyonce in Dublin 2 years ago, actually. Yeah.
With who?
I went by myself. I was supposed to go with.
What?
Yeah, I told you. I'm sure I told you. I was supposed to go with our friend Steve.
Yes.
Steve had an issue at work and he couldn't come.
Oh, so long.
Yeah, and my sister was going to come down at the last minute, but then she couldn't get somebody to watch the kids in time. So,
do you only find out on the day?
I found out Steve the day before we flew, and then my sister couldn't get somebody down in time.
Oh man!
I think I even asked you if you wanted to come, but you were like, "I can't afford it."
It sounds unlikely. Yeah,
it was the same. It was the same year as Bingham.
It sounds unlikely that you asked me, just to put it out there. But it sounds more reasonable that I was like, no, I can't afford it. I actually think that's what happened. Yeah.
No, I think it definitely did ask, because it was like the flights, because there was last minute flights to Dublin and they weren't cheap. But no, it was good. I thought it was really good. And again, I get what you mean. Like there was a lot of interludes between, and she like played videos of her like going, love, passion,
yeah,
motivation.
love me.
Yeah. It's like, it was like a
Gosh,
4 minute long perfume ad. It was just, it
it's
was
ridiculous.
crazy.
And I
Um,
think the O2 has a problem with it. So I've been to the O2 a couple of times, and this one, the Beyonce and Jay-Z tour they're doing now, was it On the Run? Is it called?
yes.
Anyway, is in the London Stadium, which is like where the Olympics were held. So it might be better because I also have a problem with the O2. The way that it is, it's so far and so big that I couldn't see her or anyone else. I just had to look at the monitors because if I
Yeah.
didn't see that, I'd basically be dancing in a club. You
Yeah.
know. And I think that might have that might be part of why I didn't really enjoy it. So I would. There's very rarely anything I would see in the O2 unless it was for free because it's too big, far too big.
Yeah, but I think that's, yeah. I think you'll have the same problem no matter what stadium you go to if you're kind of at the back. I mean, you just have to earn more money like me and then be able to buy better tickets.
It's true. I need to do that. I need to buy myself a sugar daddy otherwise, and for someone to buy me the tickets. The problem is I miss that. You know, I used to be really pretty when I was younger, but now I'm far too big and not as useful. So no one wants to pay my way anymore. I should have done it when I was 22.
Yeah. Would
So
you have
annoying.
sold yourself out? Because I found myself when I was a student in the position of dating somebody who was very, very wealthy. And he was a very handsome guy, but it was very wealthy.
What? Who was that?
Yeah, he owned a club up in, I went to uni in Leeds. He owned a club up there. Um, one of the more silent members of the club owners. And he was a very, very handsome guy. I look at the pictures of him now, I'm like, God, you're a very attractive guy.
Mhm.
But I actually find the money off-putting.
How much money are we talking?
Millionaire, definitely.
No.
Yeah.
Owning a club?
He owned a suite of businesses, but he was a club owner, basically.
Okay.
Um,
I don't know. I've never been. Honestly, I've never been in that position.
I find the money off-putting. Like, it was sort of like we'd go to all these and that, like, maybe it was as a student as well, so I wasn't like.
Yeah. I think if you're not able to contribute in any way, shape, or form, I'd find that really, really difficult. Personally, yeah. As much as I like to say that I'd like to be looked after, and I always do say it, I don't know. It doesn't need to be money necessarily, but I'd like to know that I'd be able to contribute, and it wasn't so uneven.
Yeah.
So, you know, one of my relationships I was in, he was on good money and stuff. And we did used to talk about how to contribute and how I could contribute. And we tried to figure out different ways because there were many things that he needed to pay for that he wanted us to do. And I wasn't able to. One of them would be like skiing or something.
Mm-hmm.
And although we didn't in the end, like live with each other, I was like, there's no way at this point. You know, I was working on like per hour. I was doing shifts and stuff at this point. So, you know, I was working in a fast food restaurant. I didn't have any money, whereas I was working in finance. And I mean, I didn't find it too hard, but there wasn't it wasn't like a millionaire to student disparity, you know? It was like a working professional against, you know.
But I like, again, using putting the extreme aside, anything at all, like when you're, because it's money, and I think money makes all people awkward for all these different reasons. When somebody earns more, you're entitled to, and you're right to think that I earn more, I should be able to do nice things. I've worked hard for this money. And it comes down to then, because it seemed similar with my ex and me, he earned a lot more than I did. And it was kind of like, how do we find a way to split this up? Because I work hard for my money, and I know you work hard for your money, but I also want to be able to enjoy the things I do and not feel guilt that you're paying for half the stuff.
Yeah, for sure.
So we kind of we devised a plan. A lot of our listeners probably didn't come here for relationship advice, but if you want it, you've come to the right place.
From two very single people. No,
I'm not single.
I know you're not single.
I'm not like you. I have a partner. People. Oh God, no! Don't cry.
I've done my crying already.
Let me get the camera out.
And Queer Eye got me today. I was watching it this morning, and honestly, yeah, don't worry, I'm all cried out, babes. And the sweat that's coming from this room, there's no way that I'd be able to cry at this point. I'm so dehydrated.
But yes, the point is that our plan that we had was we kind of did a percentage, and we kind of worked out if we were wanting to do something like a trip, if he earned a percentage more than I would, he'd contribute that much into the trip. So we're both contributing.
Oh, really?
Yeah, we're both contributing the same percentage of our wages into it.
That's not what I did at all. We had a big conversation, and I said, you keep saying you want to do nice things, but I can't do that. So either we do them or you do them. And he's like, but I want to do them together. And I was like, but I can't do these things. It's impossible. So then,
well, I think we had the same conversation, and then we had another solution, which was you add in the percentage you want to pay, and I'll add in the rest, what I can pay. So
yeah. Yeah.
And it kind
And
of
I tried to contribute. I actually tried to contribute. Like, so we didn't live together, but I pretty much spent like 4 or 5, maybe sometimes a week over at
yeah.
his flat. And in two of the, well, one he lived by himself, and the other one he was sharing with one of our friends who wasn't there so much. And I hope he didn't mind, and I don't think he did. But I used to do a lot of stuff around the house. Actually, I used to do a lot of cleaning, and I used to do a lot of like all sorts, like properly clean, and try and do things that just add a little bit more. Do a lot of washing up, even if it was for the housemate, because I'm still using their space as well, kind of thing.
Yeah.
And it was the only option at the time, because although I'm back at my mum's now, I was living at my mum's, and there wasn't really the option at the time to come back to ours because there were so many people in our house. So it was the only place for us to be together was to be in his flat, really, where he stayed. So we're trying to figure out ways to contribute, although that relationship's now over, so I guess maybe we didn't really figure it out. I don't know.
Oh well, what's done is done.
It is.
But you now look for your next relationship.
Oh no, that's not happening for a while now. I think I'm relationships out for I spent all my 20s in relationships, so now it's time to I need to be my best self and just enjoy my life, and also just figure out well, I kind of know what I want, but I just want to work hard on something else apart from relationship, because that is hard work.
Yeah,
that is hard work and a lot of energy, and I feel like I can put, like, now that I have an opportunity where I'm not in a relationship, I can put my energies into being a bit more creative, working on my body, because I'm really out of shape this year for sure, for me, and all sorts of things.
Mm-hmm.
Be a bit more creative.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm. No, I think you need to focus on, because you forget how much you change yourself when you're in a relationship, and not on purpose, like you just do it.
You need to compromise, I think, in a relationship.
And I think it's really refreshing to spend time finding yourself again, because plus what I want is this podcast to be full of all the creepy and juicy stories that you have to tell from your dating life in London, because
there are some bad ones from holiday last week, That's so bad. But we don't do that now. We'll see how, I don't know. Because I'm not a hoe, like, I don't sleep around. No. But same as when you became single in your 30s and what happened then, I feel like now's the time to start doing it, because my 20s were not full of hoedom at all. And and you can attest that when you become single in your somewhat 30s or late 20s, suddenly you just free yourself. Because you were free, babes. You were definitely free. You were not cheap, you were free. Okay?
Free
at all.
free like water. I was essential to everybody's lives.
So yeah, I'll try and give you some of the stories, but some of them you might need to edit out, okay? Because I don't know not that I'm that bad. I think it's getting a bit much. Like, honestly, it's not that bad. But one in particular was really bad last week, so yeah, I don't want to talk about that now.
No, well, I don't want to hear about it now, because I think we're coming to the max of our time.
Okay.
Because I have to.
It's definitely not 40 minutes then, because we've been talking for an hour and a half.
Oh God, yeah, we've been talking so long. No, I think
so much editing to do.
Well, I don't think so, because we've not really stopped to do topics. So we've not kind of been like, let's talk about this and then end that topic. Let's talk about, this has been one long conversation. So I might just put it on the background and listen as I go through it, and just maybe cut out any noises. But there's nothing really. I think there's one time where I kind of said, we'll edit this out, when I couldn't get my words out. But I don't even care that much about it. Like, I'll leave it in for the sake of not having to slice up and edit.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah.
Makes sense.
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, I was just going to say... Sorry?
It was nice doing our first podcast together.
Yeah, it was good. I really enjoyed it. What did you think? Did you enjoy it?
I have really enjoyed it. It's been really fun, and it is like just a general chit-chat conversation. Hopefully some people will listen to it and like it. Hopefully some people will listen to it and maybe not like it, but also be willing to invest the time to let us know how they feel.
Yeah, no, if you do listen to it and didn't like it, we want to know why. Like, we want to know. Because we want to make it better, don't we?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
100%.
So for one last time, Matt, tell us where people can find you on all the social stuff that you do.
So I tried to change my Twitter today because I wanted it all to be the same, because it makes sense. But apparently you can't change the handle. So on Twitter, you can find me at...
You can change the handle.
Okay, well, I'll
show you. Yeah, I'll show you after this.
So I'll say just for a blanket statement then, you can find me on Twitter.
Yep.
You can find me on Instagram, and it's all teeth and chips.
All teeth and chips.
Space in between. Okay?
Yeah. Okay. I'm ASHMCA across the board, which is Twitter and Instagram as well. And then I nearly said throwing shade. Our honest to pod, our honest to pod is just again honest to pod at Instagram and Twitter as well. So keep an eye out there. Follow us, share us. Give us some feedback through the form on honestpod.com. And yeah, we look forward to hearing your feedback. Thanks.
Thank you for listening.
Bye.
Bye.
Doodle-doodle.